What the hell's up? It's Devon here at Cover 3 Media. We're back. Us three together finally in a video. It's been a while. Today we are doing a 3-round, 10 picks each round, Superflex rookie mock draft, full PPR. We're using landing spots based on Adam's mock draft that he did. Check it out. Link is in the bio. So before we get into it, here's where these top 32 quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight ends all went in this 3-round mock that Adam created. Please check it out. It's awesome. So here it is. All right, now diving in, we're each going to switch off picking. I believe Adam is first.
Yep, I'm number 1. Christian's got the second selection. Devon's got selection number 3. I'm going to keep it nice, quick for you guys, nice and simple. Number 1 pick overall, Bijan Robinson. I'm not going to get too far into it. We already know why he's number 1. Let's go to number 2.
You guys already know who I'm taking number 2. My number 1 QB in a Superflex. All right, it's CJ Stroud. He's just better than Bryce Young. I'm sorry. And the reason why I truthfully believe that is, again, a similar aspect that I've discussed over and over again. He's not the same size as a Russell Wilson, be able to take those hits. He's going to have to put on tremendous amount of muscle.
That is?
Yeah, excuse me. Thank you for letting. Thank you. He's not going to beat him. He's not going to be Russell Wilson. It's just not going to happen, which means CJ Stroud's going to be a little bit higher. He's got the physicality. He can get the ball down the field. He's shown he's got that winning mentality, and he's going to earn the starting spot right away.
Well, third pick, pretty easy. Thanks, Christian. I'll be taking Bryce Young. In this mock, Christian's Bears traded down to the 4th pick with the Colts, so we got Bryce Young going first in Adam's mock here. So, yeah, Stroud and Young, I think we could argue all day long who's better, but I think Young going to Indianapolis Colts makes me feel a little confident. He is a smaller quarterback, but we see that's kind of the new wave of quarterbacks. I believe in his talent, but time will tell where he ends up going, so I'll take Bryce Young here at the 3rd pick.
Yeah, not bad pick there, Devin. I really like that value pick right there.
It's okay. You guys can just hate on CJ. Just
No,
wait
I
till
like
he's better.
him.
It's okay.
I like him.
Just
We
hate
gotta-
on him.
we gotta-
Hate on him.
Based off this, I'd rather take Bryce Young going to Indy than CJ going to Houston, personally.
We'll see, guys. After the combine, we're going to have a much more in-depth video about these prospects. I'm sure we'll go back and forth time and time again once that video comes along. This video is more about a mock draft for you guys' overall experience, but usually we go into some slight analysis on these players, but it's not going to be that deep today, guys. I'm going to pick a guy. I'm going to, stop Christian from seeing my list here. I'm going to pick a guy. I don't think he's going to fall to he will fall my next pick. That's why I'm picking him now, because I don't want him to go that low. I'm going Anthony Richardson to the Carolina Panthers at pick number 4 over Jahmyr Gibbs. Guys, this is a super flex format. Anthony Richardson is better than Will Levis, no questions asked. He's got a better arm, more potential, and he's a better rusher than Will Levis will ever be in the NFL. He's got a bigger body for it. I don't want to hear the hate that he isn't a polished passer yet. He has the arm talent to do it in the NFL, guys. Let him develop on the Carolina Panthers with that new up-and-coming franchise they're trying to develop. I'm just thinking Anthony Richardson, you can make a comp to Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields with that rushing upside. I don't know if he's going to be as good as Jalen Hurts right off the rip, but he's got the body and the athleticism to do it with the arm talent. Much better arm talent than Justin Fields. So if you guys are drafting Justin Fields in the top 10 picks of your Dynasty Superflex startups, I think you are willing to take Anthony Richardson number 4 here to Carolina with that rushing upside right off the bat.
You know, Adam, I don't disagree with that pick, honestly, at all. I think Anthony Richardson has a high ceiling. I don't think he's the level of rushing that Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields is. I think that he's more similar to a Josh Allen kind of rushing where he's got it, maybe good for 40 yards in a game on average, which 30 to 40 in fantasy football is that difference. And honestly, is that peak of the diminishing returns where I see then Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields might not be playing every game, which means their value drops because they're not scoring as many points. So I think Anthony Richardson might just be on the cusp of that if he can get a little bit more polished to the right system, right QB coach. But moving on with my pick, I mean, I'm not going to have to get into it that much. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. Wow, shocker. RB number 2 here. Probably being RB1 in a lot of other years that Bijan doesn't exist. Pretty simple.
And with the Arizona Cardinals, guys, I mean, the way they've been treating James Conner, who's really not who we thought was a receiving back as that kind of a volume. And if Jahmyr Gibbs goes there, it's looking great.
Exactly. I mean, James Conner is one of those guys who has burnt out in this league and just has fantasy production because he gets receptions. Imagine someone who gets 7 receptions and actually can take it for 70 yards. I mean, would be insane.
I think, too, if Gibbs does go to Arizona, we got it. If you do draft him, you got to be a little patient because Kyler's probably going to be out for most of the season, so don't. Maybe if you're in more of a rebuild, it would be smarter, but don't expect him to have insane production right away. It could happen, but take it easy. If you don't, have patience.
Just like George Pickens, have patience.
Gosh, he's staring at me in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, 6th pick, I will be taking JSN. We got him going. Adam had him going 12 to Houston to pair up with CJ Stroud. Are you kidding me? Them pairing together in Houston, that gets me excited. JSN, yeah, he might not run the best 40. Yeah, he didn't play this much this year, but all I need to know is what he did his sophomore year with talented guys around him like Olave and Garrett Wilson. Ohio State's had a great crop in the NFL, so I'm going to go with JSN. I love the landing spot to develop with CJ Stroud, as they clearly had a good connection his sophomore year, especially in that damn Rose Bowl. So
yeah,
I'll be taking JSN here at 6.
Honestly, I like that pick. I thought about taking him because wide receivers also, you guys got to remember, they're going to be the staple. They're going to be the stronghold of your teams moving forward in these new NFL offenses.
Yeah, it all depends kind of on your landscape of your dynasty team, what you need more too sometimes.
Right. And realistically, with these younger wide receivers, JSN, Quentin Johnston, those guys could last two times longer than your running back. So it really does hold value for a longer period of time. You definitely want to swing for the fences with some of these wide receivers. That's why I'm going to go with Quentin Johnston with my pick. Number 7 overall, guys. He lands on the New England Patriots. Now, I know the New England Patriots have had bad luck drafting wide receivers in the past. Really bad luck. But here in my mock draft, guys, I figured they'd go with Quentin Johnston at pick number 14 over Michael Mayer. Even though Michael Mayer makes sense for the Patriots and for Bill Belichick, I just think they go with a guy who might have a bigger tool set, a wider range of tool sets for Mac Jones. That's what they need right now. I like that landing spot, guys. I think that they can make a nice pairing considering the type of quarterback Mac Jones is. So that's, I think, a great pick. Pick 107, Quentin Johnston falling that far, fantastic.
Yeah, and pick 108, I love it even more, Jordan Addison. Let me tell you one thing about this guy. He's going to come in and he's going to have his instant production. He's going to the New York Giants in our mock draft. Means one thing. He's going to a team that's ready for him. He's going to slide right into their offense. He honestly might look better than Quentin Johnston his first year. Do I think their careers are going to be better? Probably not. Quentin Johnston, he reaches his peak. It's basically DeAndre Hopkins. Let's be honest, he's going to be amazing if he reaches that peak. I think Jordan Addison sliding into a team that's been waiting for a receiver like him to be consistent targets. They need him. And with that said, him being there, getting those consistent receptions, consistency is key in fantasy football. I think he'll be a staple and a stronghold for a team that's utilizing him like the New York Giants.
Yeah, I think with Addison, I think that's a great spot for him. Do I think he can be a number 1 alpha receiver in offense? I don't know, but I think he's going to be a damn good receiver still. Reminds me of Devontae Smith a lot just because they're built, but they do have different play styles.
For sure.
So yeah, I got the 9th pick now. I think there's a little bit of a teardrop right now for me. So I got a lot of options where I want to go. Yeah, there's Will Levis, who goes 16 to Washington in our mock here. He's a raw player, but we don't know exactly. I think if he got a top 10 draft capital, I'd be more inclined to take him. But I think what I'm going to do here, because of landing spot, is I'm going to take Mr. Josh Downs, going 21st to Los Angeles Chargers. Now, he might not be my next ranked guy, but based on this landing spot and draft capital, I'm all over that. Especially with the rumors that the Chargers might be looking to cutting Keenan Allen or trading him. If that happens and Downs goes into this offense with Justin Herbert, with Kellen Moore coming over as OC, my mouth is watering for that possibility. Yeah, he only played in the slot 90% of the time. So did Justin Jefferson. Not saying he could be like him, but who the hell knows? Give me Downs at 9. Why not?
Yeah, guys, I actually love that pick. I had Addison going 110. I wish he would have fallen to me there, guys. But I love that pick for Devin. I think there is not a big range of difference between Jordan Addison and Josh Downs. I actually think Josh Downs is the more complete package. If we look at the good old combine that's going to be coming up, I would not be surprised if Josh Downs is a more explosive player. They're the same exact body type, so there's really no difference there. I think Josh Downs is a more accurate comp of Devonta Smith than Jordan Addison is. I think Josh Downs has a much bigger tool set than Jordan Addison has. So watch out for that. Josh Downs, I also think he's probably going to come in with a bigger wingspan than Jordan Addison, so watch out.
Yeah, I will say one thing about Jordan Addison, though, is he has proven in multiple high-powered offenses he can be productive in both.
It's been productivity in the open field.
Exactly, and guess what? When he goes to a team like the New York Giants, gonna be kind of scary.
It's gonna be similar, but Josh Downs is he's very productive in the open field, but he's also productive in contested catches, and I like that overall roundness in this game.
And
so,
I just think playing in the ACC just kind of scares me. It's putting him over Jordan Addison. I'm big on Josh Downs. I'm not going to shit on him.
Jordan Addison's getting a lot of hype, that I think it's not really as deserved.
I mean, I think him winning the wide receiver of the year 2 years ago and then coming back and producing again, it's pretty well
Why did
deserved.
you win it the second year in a different offense?
Because it was a completely different offense that produces multiple high-powered wide receivers. Watch out for USC the next couple of years.
All right, well,
They've been producing. They're going to continue.
This past year.
Just watch.
Anyways, with my pick, I'm going to go ahead with Will Levis. I think you got to go with him here. Superflex guys falling outside the first round. I think you got to take a risk on this guy. I think although his ceiling might not be as high as the first three quarterbacks off the board, I still think he has the potential to put up some, respectable seasons. Maybe like a Daniel Jones type of guy who has some good years, has some bad years. That's my kind of range for his fantasy production. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in this NFL.
For sure.
2-1 now.
So we're at the first pick of the second round, and I do kind of go back and forth between these two receivers. And since in my first mock I kind of chose one way, this mock I'm going to choose another way and go with the LSU wide receiver Kayshon Boutte. He goes to the right team. I mean, for goodness sakes, he's going to be scary. I love LSU wide receivers, and when you have very high talent LSU wide receivers in the NFL, in recent years, it's kind of panned out. So I feel like I don't really need to explain any more than that. His talent is there. We don't need to go super in depth.
Thanks for stealing my picks, asshole.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Great pick. Love Boutte. Baltimore Ravens. Bateman would be moving down my rankings. Anybody in the league wants him. He's available. I'll keep him if not. But 202 here now in our mock draft. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Again, give us a like and subscribe for Dynasty content all offseason. We're winning championships 2023 again. Now, the 202. I'm going to go with the other receiver Christian was probably talking about, and that's Rashee Rice. We have him going 39th to Carolina. Him with Anthony Richardson developed that rapport. Also, DJ Moore's there, so he's not going to be asked to be the alpha right away. He has time to develop. He's an older prospect, don't forget. But what I saw on his tape looks like he could be a superstar potential player, and that's what jumps off the screen. I know he's playing in lower competition, but I still think receivers can produce in the NFL with lower competition. There's a huge list of players that got drafted late in the NFL that went to small colleges that produced. It's all about situation. It's all about their skills, and I think Rashee Rice, now that we know what his age actually is, if you see an old video of me and Adam, we didn't know, but I like Rice going to Carolina, so that's my pick at the 202.
Yeah, I like that. I mean,
Thanks.
I think he can make plays for Anthony Richardson and help him develop in the early years of his career. All right, guys, with the 203, I'm going to have to go with Zach Evans here, guys. Falls to Miami Dolphins. He's a third running back off the board.
Really take my pick? Wow.
I thought you don't like Miami landing spot.
I don't like Miami landing spots for long-term dynasty, but I think any rookie who goes to Miami in the first 3 rounds of this NFL draft, well, they don't have a first rounder, so second or third round, or anyone who goes there in the free agency, I could see them having a good first year there, but I'd be concerned for the future. So I think anyone who gets drafted to the Miami Dolphins in the first two rounds of their picks, second and third round, has the opportunity to have a great first year.
Yeah.
But after that, I'd be looking to maybe trade. So Zach Evans, I think this is a great pick for 1 year of value, and then maybe after that, kind of reassessing the situation. So, 203 here, guys, the 13th pick in this draft. That's a great landing spot for Zach Evans and your rookie mocks.
Yeah.
For sure. And, moving on, I'm going to take another running back too. Tank Bigsby. If he's going to Buffalo, every year I feel like we're talking about a Buffalo running back. They're going to hit eventually. They have to. They just took James Cook, receiving back. You kind of feel that Zach Moss role that just never panned out. Very similarly, it doesn't seem like James Cook has been panning out so far. There's something about him that they don't like. I was never really that high on him. Sam Chubb, I know you're watching this. I want you to know, James Cook is not that good. Drop him, trade him, get rid of him for whatever you can.
Don't drop him.
Yeah, now that you mention it, guys, people have been making comparisons to the BMI of James Cook and Jahmyr Gibbs, and if Jahmyr Gibbs happens to have a similar BMI to James Cook, that it might not be a great selection. But guys, there's two big differences between Jahmyr Gibbs and James Cook.
Yeah.
One, Jahmyr Gibbs is a much better receiver. Two, he's far and above more explosive than James Cook. So that's what it's looking to be. So I don't really like that scarcity there, guys. And Tank Bigsby, guys, he's got a great route tree, so that's going to hurt James Cook
Big
most
time.
likely. So.
And if you just look at the comparison, like you just mentioned with Jahmyr, I keep going to it. Production is key. And James Cook in college, I mean, he was splitting downs too with Jahmyr White, who honestly is not that good at football, guys. Like, how are you splitting with him? All right, like he's a bowling ball at the end of the day, and I get it in college, but still, come on, you're splitting with Jahmyr, right? You're not able to get that kind of differentiating. You're not able to get that differentiating talent enough to get the ball a little bit more than him. Come on. All right, so let's not make that comparison. It's not going to really be a competition for Tank to beat him out. His name is Tank, for God's sakes. He's going to run James Cook over into the ground.
Well, let's not forget, too, I mean, Devin Singletary is a free agent, so
yeah,
even with all the hate with James Cook, he might still be involved and might move on Devin Singletary. So, yes, we're not high on James Cook, but again, don't drop him. Trade him for something.
Yeah, I'm just chirping you.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, so 205, I think this is a perfect spot to take the tight end, Michael Mayer. We got him going 18th to Detroit. His tape wasn't insane, but he did have a lot of production at college at Notre Dame, where a lot of tight ends in the NFL have produced from. I think going to Detroit and being a next TJ Hawkinson type player for them would be huge. I think you're the 205. It's worth taking a chance on. Again, he could be a guy that doesn't produce right away. So again, you have to be patient with tight ends. Even Kyle Pitts, who was a very high-end prospect for tight end, was a huge pick in the NFL draft last year. It's still taking him time, not all of his fault, but again, you can't just lose confidence in the talent at tight end. So I think Michael Mayer at 205 is a perfect spot for me to take him.
It's a great pick, and I'll add in here with the idea. We have to realize when it comes to tight ends in the NFL, the reason that they take a little bit longer is not necessarily that they don't have the route tree, they don't have the receiving capabilities. We've seen that with Kyle Pitts, but a lot of teams really want to hone in on them being able to run block, want to be able to get out and play action and block, and then get a little chips, and it's a lot different at the NFL level. So it does take them a little bit of time. Sometimes they want them to add another 10, 20 pounds. At the end of the day, it's going to take a little bit of time. Patience is key, you guys.
Right. I mean, most players in the NFL outside of running back take a couple years to break out, usually. Mm-hmm. I mean, tight ends can be the longest projects. Mm-hmm. How often do you see a guy break out right off the rip? Just not the way it is.
No.
So yeah, 206 here, guys. I'm happy he fell to me. I'm not the highest on Zach Charbonnet. I don't have him number 3 in my overall rookie running back rankings, but Zach Charbonnet here, guys, going to Philadelphia at the end of the second round. I'm loving that landing spot, especially if they don't re-sign Miles Sanders. I know Kenneth Gainwell's there, but if they do draft a guy like Zach Charbonnet, who does have that well-rounded ability to pass catch and be a bowling ball up the middle, I'm sorry, Kenneth Gainwell might be falling back to the number 2 running back again, and his career is looking like it's over for fantasy football. Now, I do love Kenneth Gainwell. Anyway, Zach Charbonnet, guys, I do like the comparisons to Miles Sanders, actually, in that they have a similar build and they have similar potential, and Miles Sanders just never really took hold of that potential. Zach Charbonnet is a similar player. He's big body. He can work in the receiving game. If he can pull it all together, he could be what Miles Sanders was supposed to be and more. Zach Charbonnet, let's wait for the draft combine. I think if he shows up and really produces in the NFL draft combine, he will rise up NFL boards. He'll rise up mock drafts for fantasy football. If he's around the 4-5 range for the 40, he's looking great. If he gets into that 4-4 range for the 40, he is going to be rising, skyrocketing up boards, because that is close to that overall Ken Walker and Breece Hall range, where they're right around 3.38 and 3.39. That's some great explosiveness out of a big body like Zach Charbonnet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and moving on to this 207, I'm debating between 2 players, and I'll be honest. All right, it's between landing spots here, and we got Kendre Miller going to the Chicago Bears, and we got Sean Tucker, probably a little bit better, pretty much going over to the Baltimore Ravens. Now the Ravens, J.K. Dobbins is there. Will he break out? Probably not. He'll probably get injured again. Let's be honest. All right. Now, is there something wrong with this Ravens team that injuries just continue to plague their running backs? Do I want that guy? On the flip side, we got Chicago, where Justin Fields will be the leading rusher next year. Now, do I love that on my quarterback? No, but if it wins me games, whatever. It's fine. But no, would be scary is if they get some offense, if they got a little bit of offense creativity here, and they put Kendre out there with Justin Fields, that would be a scary RPO on the Chicago Bears. And with the blocking that we do have on the outside, at least, and have blocking tight ends that do have the ability, and with the rumors about us getting Mercedes Lewis, we got the money to do it. It makes me want to lead towards Kendre, but I do feel like Sean Tucker is just slightly above him right now. So with that said, I'm going to take Sean Tucker. I love his vision and his IQ. Although he's playing the ACC, his explosion does look a little bit less than what it should be on the NFL level. I think he is high and above most people to be a superstar running back in the league. At the end of the day, it's just at the end of the day, looking at the tape, it's hard to tell because the corners chasing him down are slow.
Yeah, fair.
I like it. I mean, I know Adam probably likes Kendre better than Sean Tucker. I kind of agree with Christian more with Tucker, but again, we'll see how they test out. We'll see how they look in the combine. We'll see where they go in the draft. So now with the 208, I could take Adam's boy, but I might leave him for him so he can elaborate why he's a good player to have. So I'm going to go with one of my favorite players. X gonna give it to you. It's Xavier Hutchinson.
God damn, that was my next pick, you asshole.
Xavier Hutchinson going 57 to the New York Giants to be what Kenny Golladay was supposed to be for this team. He's a big body baby receiver. I like him going with Addison. I think them two could really complement each other. That's why I like it a lot. Xavier Hutchinson, older prospect. Look into it though. He went to a JUCO to be in his career. Then he went to Iowa State, broke some records. He's a dynamic player. Watch him at the Senior Bowl. Watch his highlights, his one-on-ones in the red zone. Is that Mike Evans? No, it's Xavier Hutchinson. So I like Xavier Hutchinson, guys. At the 208, I'm taking the big swing on him. Might not produce right away, but not all rookie receivers are Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase like these two boys have.
Hey, CD's pretty nice.
CD is great.
No, he's even better though? AJ Brown.
You know what, guys? That's a good point. I just watched a video today about, the 2023 looking ahead for overall Dynasty rankings. I watched Mason from the Flock Dynasty, his Dynasty channel, guys. He had CeeDee Lamb ranked number 3, and he made a great point, guys. CeeDee, he had 900 receiving yards his rookie season. That isn't bad. That's actually dang good for a rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like insane numbers, but that is something I could see. Like George Pickens had 800.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's looking good for a receiver in his rookie year. You don't have to expect the moonshot out of every rookie receiver you draft, especially in the late second round.
Oh, yeah, and think about it. I mean, CeeDee came in with Dak.
Right.
Versus Kenny Pickett's a rookie
Right.
for George Pickens. I mean, he's learning alongside someone who's learning with him.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. With the 209 here, they think I'm taking Kendre Miller, but I think there's one guy who's unstoppable, and he goes to a team that bleeds green and gold. We're talking Darnell Washington, guys. He goes number 45 for the Green Bay Packers. Whether it's Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball or Jordan Love, I'm loving some Love and Washington action over in Green Bay. This guy's a big body tight end, 270 pounds, 6'7", guys.
Holy mammoth.
If he's going to Green Bay, guys, it's going to be dangerous. I got to get him here in the late second round. Are you kidding me? This guy's a prospect.
I love that landing spot for him. I hate to say it. I love it. Probably be a great spot. It sounds like a smoke screen for you guys. I don't think you guys are smart enough to take him.
Probably
You probably take some random safety.
He'll probably go before
Their second round.
But we'll see.
He should, but honestly, with Dalton Kincaid rising, if he has a solid combine, that might work to your favor.
Right.
Moving on. I mean, might as well just take the other Chicago Bear and Kendre Miller, right? Strike, you thought. Time to go get Zay Flowers, the other guy who went to the Chicago Bears. I need more wide receivers in this mock draft. At the end of the day, I love Kendre. I do. I've taken a few running backs, though. And Zay Flowers, one reason why I do like him is deep ball options for Justin Fields. He can air it out. He has the ability. We've seen him throw it. The problem is he has no one who actually can get open by themselves. Darnell Mooney is the perfect wide receiver, too. Chase Claypool is the perfect wide receiver, too. I can tell you one thing. We don't have a wide receiver one. Maybe this guy has a chance. Maybe.
Yeah, like Zay, I mean, opportunity is there for him to take a hold of being a top receiver for Justin Fields. No one has still. I mean, I know Mooney was solid 2 years ago, but what did he do this year? I know he was hurt a little bit, but come on.
They need deep shots. They're running a lot of play action. I mean, at the end of the day, they need someone who can get out in the open and win a contested ball. Justin Fields is the type of guy who's going to take chances. So
with my pick to start the third round, there's still 2 running backs left, thanks. But I'll take Kendre Miller now at this point. Going to the Bears, David Montgomery is a free agent, so there is opportunity for him to take hold of that Backfield, I know Khalil Herbert's there, which I do like him. Like him as a solid player, but I don't think he's got a high upside personally. So I think Miller has a way better upside. You know, very productive at TCU. Adam, you want to add to why Kendre Miller's a good prospect?
Yeah, guys, I just think he's severely underrated, being that he only had 1 year in the spotlight, being behind Zach Evans the first 2 years. I mean, Zach Evans was a great prospect coming out of high school. That makes sense why he got most of the workload his first 2 seasons. But Kendre Miller has had a very efficient career in college playing at TCU. He's got some receiving upside, guys. He's got the prototypical build for an NFL running back. We just got to see what happens in the NFL Combine. If this guy's sub 4.5 40, we're looking great. Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. He was behind Zach Evans half the time.
Exactly.
That's honestly great to hear.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. With the 3.02,
Yep.
I'm going to go with Parker Washington to the Dallas
I
Cowboys.
knew it. I knew you were going to do that.
I love that pick, guys. Doors wide open for a second option there. I think Parker Washington fits in nicely as a second option. He can get the offense rolling down the field alongside CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz. We'll see what Dalton Schultz's really long-term future looks like in Dallas. But I think Parker Washington can walk into the scene and be the second option over Dalton Schultz. I think he obviously will be behind CeeDee Lamb, but he'll provide a nice second option there, guys. He's a great run after catch type of player. I think that would fit nicely into the Dallas Cowboys offense, having CD being just such an overall tool that can be CD can do everything. Parker Washington, I don't think he's that do everything guy. He's more of a, specific player type guy that will get extra yards for the Dallas Cowboy offense. It's going to be a high-powered offense if they get Bijan and Parker Washington in this draft. So, loving that landing spot there, guys. Don't expect him to be a wide receiver 1. I think he's a wide receiver 2, fantasy-wise, for his career, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, look at how Noah Brown played this year when Michael Gallup was out. I mean, I don't think Noah Brown is someone who's a spectacular wide receiver. I do think Parker could easily beat him out. So, definitely would be a great pick there. Moving to the 3.03, I'm going to go with Devon Achane. I think that he is an undersized running back, about like 185. But other than that, his size is good. And if the only thing I'm really concerned about him is a few pounds of muscle, if he can get up to like 190, 195 in pure muscle, that's enough weight for him to really be able to take some of those hits. And for me to say that he's probably got the best vision on anyone in the class, in my opinion. So with that, I think that is a really big tool for him. I think he was highly just like underrated in this draft class because there are so many running backs. I think getting him that size is going to be very key and very crucial to his development in the NFL. Again, might be one of those guys that it does take him a little bit. I mean, go to Houston. They got Dameon Pierce, so he does have that luxury. But in the third round, I definitely think that that's a moonshot that I could take.
Yeah. We're not huge fans of Achane, but I think at this point, I mean, if Christian would not have taken him, I definitely would have. I mean, there's still upside there. There might be some hype going on in training camp and stuff that maybe you could sell him high and get something good for him. Dameon Pierce had a great season, but again, opportunities there. There's a new coaching staff coming in. Also CJ Stroud and JSN going there in this mock. I mean, that's pretty sexy if you ask the contract.
And if you think about it, I mean, they have no commitment to Dameon Pierce. They didn't spend that high of a pick on him, and at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing. They don't have a lot of draft capital invested in him, and the new coaching staff does not have a commitment to him, which really stinks for him.
Right. I agree, guys. I mean, I think here at in the third round, guys, for Devon Achane, I think the risk taken into factor, that's a great pick. It's a sleeper pick, like Christian said. This is a deep class, and Devon Achane, I think his ceiling would be like the type of workload that like DeAndre Swift gets. I think that's his absolute ceiling, is getting like 10 to 12 rushes a game, and maybe having that 5 to 6 targets in the receiving game. So I mean, I couldn't complain with that.
Out of a third round pick, not at all.
Right.
All right, so now with the 304, there's receivers still left on the board that I'm going to ignore because I don't like them. So I'm going to go with Dalton Kincaid, who's going to the New Orleans Saints with the 40th pick with the Saints. There's some rumors about Derek Carr going there, probably not happening now, if you are up to date with that. So, again, I think he's a talented guy, really good receiving tight end. The Saints have a boatload of tight ends, Quentin Johnston, Taysom Hill, I guess, all those guys. Again, I think he could definitely go up the depth chart quick with them. Again, you got to be patient with tight ends. The third round, I think it's worth taking a shot. maybe they'll get a different franchise quarterback down the road that will develop a huge connection with them. So I'll take the shot in Dalton Kincaid. You know, there's other receiver left that I just can't draft because I just don't like them.
Yeah, just give him time. Dalton's going to be good. I really think he will. And he goes to the Saints, bro. I mean, Taysom's not really scary. At the end of the day, he's a quarterback turned a tight end. He's going to be there for tools, for a tool player, I guess you want to call it. They list him as a tight end right now. He's not going to take anything away. Quentin Johnston, how old is this guy now? Like
26, I think, or something.
26 or something like that. Like he
seems like he's like 50. Though.
He looks like he's 75.
He looks like he's big dog on the pack. Who's going to the Bears? Going to the Bears, apparently. Someone said.
I hope.
All right, guys, I'm going to take a guy, Marvin Mims here. I think he is a severely underrated wide receiver prospect coming into this draft class. I mean, if you can snag this guy in the third round, I mean, you're blessed, especially when he falls to the Packers. I think he is, you know, obviously he'd have to work up the depth chart a little bit over Romeo Doubs and good old Christian Watson. So there is that, and then obviously the addition of Darnell Washington now with this mock draft. That's a lot to spread the ball around. But Marvin Mims, guys, I think he has a higher ceiling than Romeo does based on the film I've seen. And I think he could fit well into the Packers scheme. He's not a speedster like Christian Watson, but he's more of a guy that can play out of the slot. He could play on the X if he really wanted to. So I think he's got a nice little spot here for Green Bay.
I think if he goes to the right landing spot, he's one of those players that can play a role, fit a role, and be a solid flex option on a week-to-week basis because it's going to be more of a consistent role. It's not going to be this week he gets 100 yards off of 5 receptions. That's just not going to happen.
I will say, guys, my initial review on him and his ceiling, obviously he's a little bit more undersized than this guy, but my initial review on his tape and his highlights, he reminded me a lot like Davante Adams, just the way he played. So whoa. I will say, guys, that's a very high reach of a ceiling. Christian's kind of shaking his head like that's not going to happen. But hey, that's his 100% potential ceiling. I don't think he gets there. But
I'm just shocked. That's all. I'm just shocked.
Have you watched his tape?
I haven't watched it to the point that I saw Davante Adams in him, but now I'm not going to deny it. I mean, that's your boy. I'm sure if I saw someone looking like my boy out there, I would be feeling the same way.
If he was 80% of what Davante Adams is, I'd be happy.
If he was 50% of it, I'd probably be happy for the Bears. Jesus.
Yeah, certainly.
I mean, listen, Davante Adams was his biggest thing. I mean, I personally think it's his route running. I think he's one of the greatest of all time. So if you see that kind of route running of Marvin Mims, that's saying something. He's usually pretty smart about when it comes to wide receivers, Adam. So I'm gonna deter to you. I haven't seen him enough for that.
Well,
I didn't see it.
Tape, probably, so.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen him enough to say that. But to be fair, we're in the third round, you guys, and he's saying that's a ceiling.
That's his absolute
yes.
greatest potential, which I don't think he'll reach, but that's like a player comp that initially sparks my interest in him. So.
Like maybe a little bit undersized version of him. I could definitely, I could definitely see.
Probably a little bit less explosive too.
I mean, again, explosion is something that can be built throughout the years. I mean, muscle development, muscle maturity, all that is, it happens. It's the NFL. It might take Marvin Mims a few years. I mean, it took Davante a few years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Going with the 306 here, again, I'm going for a high ceiling player. And so when I think of a high ceiling player, I think of another person that draws a lot of top tier comparisons that I don't personally think he's going to reach. But at the end of the day, we're in the third round. It's time to take a shot. I'm going to go with Jalin Hyatt out of Tennessee. He had some big shot games. Do I love him? No. Do I see certain things in him, like his speed and the way he can get out in the open field as a benefit? Sure. I mean, there's a lot of players in the league that developed other skills being coached by NFL coaches that came in. And then there's players that didn't. I mean, John Ross, perfect example. He could very well just turn out to be the next John Ross, but he could turn out to be a Tyreek Hill type player. We don't know. We're in the third round, so it's kind of time to take a little shot in the dark. I think he's the shot in the dark. Shout out Survivor, the bullshit news twist. Jalin Hyatt, you're my shot in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, again, not a huge fan of him, but at this point, it's definitely worth taking the shot on him. All right, so now at the 307, I'm going to take another receiver, and I'm going to take a guy that, I looked into him in the past, like earlier in the college football season, and I was like, who the hell is this guy, and why is he projected to go so low? Then I realized he's a smaller receiver, and he played in a smaller conference. But again, it's the third round, like Christian said. So I'm going to take Nathaniel Tank Dell out of is he from or Houston? Out of Houston. In this mock, we have him going 83rd to Seattle. Going to a great offense. Geno Smith, I don't know if he's a long-term option, but again, Tyler Lockett is an old guy. He could keep playing for a while. I was surprised he was still really good this year. But again, he's going in a great offense, can learn behind some great receivers in DK and Lockett. I think at this point, there's not really any other receiver, maybe Tillman from Tennessee, that I would be interested in, but I like the landing spot. Taking a shot at him. His talent's really good, very good route running, very explosive player. Again, don't know what he could turn into, but I'll take the shot at him in the third round. So I got Tank Dell.
And they could draft a quarterback over there too.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Geno's there for a little bit longer, maybe 3-4 seasons even. But if they dropped a quarterback, I could see even a transition mid-season, early next.
Yeah, exactly. I like that pick a lot. I have him going right around there as well. With the 308 guys, my last pick of this draft, I'm going to have to go with the tight end here. Luke Musgrave going to Cincinnati. I love that pairing. I love that pairing with Joe Burrow, guys. They need a tight end.
Luke.
I don't know how I feel as as his overall ceiling is, guys, but at the end of the third round here, close to pick 30, we're looking at some high upside for a tight end position that you got to take a risk on because it's very valuable to have a top 5 tight end, and he very well could be paired with Joe Burrow, and we don't know what's going to happen with T. Higgins. I really hope, that they make it work with him and Joe Burrow, but they're looking. People are, kind of starting to have some, conspiracy or some thoughts that maybe T. Higgins will not stay in Cincinnati because of the 3 big contracts that they got to sign for Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. So
Yeah, they won't be Joe Mixon anymore. I'll tell you that. They don't got to worry about that anymore.
Hey, got dropped.
Joe Mixon got dropped.
The Chargers got dropped.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I was like, what?
I was like, okay. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Chargers got dropped. So.
I'm just saying, Joe Mixon's contract is not going to be what he wants it to be in a running back market that's full of a ton of people, and with him having allegations, he kind of screwed himself over a little bit. All right, so sticking to the people that are in our 3-round mock draft here. So Hendon Hooker, Azir Abinakara, I can't say his name, Kenny McIntosh, not really guys that are in our top 3 round for the mock draft, so we're going to stay away from them. Guys I do kind of like as deep sleepers, maybe even 4th round picks. Love them, but not right now. I'm going to go with a Superflex quarterback that I think could be a sleeper as well. Quarterbacks can be taken in any round and turn out to be great. And I'm going to go with Tanner McKee out of Stanford. Stanford's produced great quarterbacks. Shout out Andrew Luck for ruining my fantasy team for 2 years and retiring. I hate you still. But that's we have him here going to Tampa Bay. Tom Fucker's gone, and it's great. Thank God. They're going to need a new guy. They got Kyle Trask right now, which is, come on. He's been learning on the Tom. Maybe he turned into him. Probably didn't. So, with that said, Tanner McKee might be able to come in and fight for a QB position midseason. I expect him to sign some type of veteran QB. Is that veteran QB going to be long-term? No. Who do I think it might be? I have some ideas. I could see him trading for like a Carson Wentz or something like that. And we all know Carson's going to get hurt, which means it's Tanner McKee time down in Tampa Bay, and it's going to turn into Tanner Bay down there, okay?
Tanner Bay, I like that.
Yeah.
Tanner Bay. They got Godwin Evans still. They still got a decent, offensive players. So,
Rashad White.
Yeah. Lenny, I guess, is still there.
Yeah, if
he
he
wasn't that great.
stops eating.
Yeah. All right, so to round off this 3-round, 10-pick each round, Superflex, PPR mock draft based off Adam's excellent 3-round mock draft. Again,
It's so good. Just watch.
Again, you should really check it out. It's really good in-depth analysis for teams maybe where your team should be picking that you can expect your favorite team to draft. So again, to round up this draft, don't have a lot of options, but I'll just take the shot on DeWayne McBride going to Carolina. I know Adam likes him a lot. Went to a smaller school. All of his advanced stats are off the charts. Pretty close to Bijan, surprisingly. He's going to Carolina where they have Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, look it up.
Holy Chuba.
They got Chuba Damn Hubbard and, that big Foreman guy. And
You mean Derrick Henry Jr.?
Yeah, I guess. For the Achilles, maybe. Again, there's opportunity there. He's a really explosive player at the end of the 3rd round. I'll take him and then maybe trade him to Adam for a second and go from there. But I think McBride has the possibility to be a good back. Adam, you got anything to add to McBride there?
Yeah, guys, it's... at this point in the draft, to get a running back who could have a running back 3 or 2 ceiling. I mean, he could come out of nowhere.
Be a
Be
one.
a guy who's a number 1.
Right.
Alvin Kamara was a 4th round pick in the NFL draft. Aaron Jones and late round pick guys. These guys do happen to be there. DeWayne McBride has the body for it. We'll see what the combine has to say. But he was an aggressive runner in college. I know he played against not the best competition, so who knows? But again, we've had running backs come from weird colleges before, like Aaron Jones, and come out and show up. So watch out for that, guys. That rounds out our 3-round mock draft, like Devin said, with landing spots. Subscribe to our channel, guys, if you want to keep in touch with these mock drafts for this 2023 NFL mock draft. We're going to be making a lot of videos this offseason, preparing you for the 2023 NFL season. We're winning championships in 2023. I know not many of you guys were following us beforehand. Only a few guys won championships because, you know, we're new here at Cover 3 Media. So get with it, guys. Subscribe. Make sure you're not missing our sacred content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We're winning championships in 2023. Go check out our other videos if you haven't already. Some great content, some different opinions from Devin, Christian, myself. So
Yeah, I mean, we've all in our fantasy football leagues this year. I mean, in our main league, you're looking at 1, 2, and 3 right at you right now, like this. Yeah, asterisk win, whatever. Moving on. We also all are champions in our own right in other leagues as well. I mean, it's no secret, guys. We share the information with each other. We share it with you. It's sacred. You find this channel. You don't share it with your friends. You don't share it with your league mates. It's simple as that.
Well, if you don't want to give us a few more subscribers. Thanks for watching, guys. Film this on Sunday, so we're about to tune in the Super Bowl. Appreciate you guys. Please support us. We're going to support you guys and win you championships.
And side note, let's go. Gardner Minshew, Super Bowl MVP.